Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the What the Football channel. This is the BH and Scrubber Show. We are back after two preseason games. We're looking at the Commanders. They're looking pretty good. We're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about a little bit of the depth chart. Just take a quick look at that. And also, we have a big surprise for everybody. Some of you may have heard about it already, but I'm going to turn that over to my partner in crime, BH, from our West Coast affiliate. Welcome, BH.
Hey, man. That's right, man. The West Coast affiliate is here. So, the news is we had been talking about this for a while. We're going to go ahead and do a What the Football Fantasy League this year. So it'll be fun. We're going to kind of get the whole thing started, and Scrubber's going to have some information where you can, if you want to be in the league, you can contact him. We'll get that started. We'll populate the league up. We're going to go with the standard Yahoo league. It will be a PPR, points per reception, but it's not going to be defensive players, crazy big lineups, just sort of your standard stuff. And then you guys out there, guys and girls out there, if you're new and you've always thought, heck, I'd like to try fantasy football, this is a good chance. This is going to be a fun league. I think that's kind of how we're looking at it because it's our first year. We can, if it goes off and everyone's loving it, we can do different things next year. But for this time, it's just going to be fun. Hope to get some of our regulars in there. But hey, it's all comers, man. Anybody who's interested, we'll set it up so you can contact Scrubber, and I'll set the league up, and we'll do the draft Tuesday. I think it's going to be September 3rd, right, Scrubber?
September 3rd, Tuesday, September 3rd. That's right before the first game, which is that Thursday.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to do it at 4 o'clock because then any of our West Coast guys like me do the draft at 4. You East Coasters can do the draft at 7 after dinner or during dinner if you want. And that's another thing, too. If you're new to this game, the machine will auto draft for you. So if you just want to get in, but you're like, man, doing a draft, holy crap, I've never done that before. Well, let the machine do it for you. It'll populate a team for you, and you can just go on. You'll learn a lot about fantasy football. It's a lot of fun, and it's just a good way to get introduced like all of us had to. Everybody was a newbie in fantasy football, so I've been doing it for like 24 years. But, there's a first time for everyone, so we just hope a bunch of you guys get in there. I think it'll be a lot of fun.
Awesome. It is. That's a great thing to do. And just so to alleviate some people's fears, when you draft for a fantasy football team, you're not drafting 50 people. You're drafting, 11, 12 people?
Yeah, it could be 12 to 16, depending.
12 to 16. Yeah. So it's like one quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, a tight end, what do they call it? A scramble guy?
Like a flex position.
Flex guy, a kicker, and then an overall defense. So you really don't have to pick linemen, linebackers, none of that stuff. Just people who score points, and that's how you play the game. You score points. If your quarterback throws a touchdown, you get so many points. If your receiver catches the ball, you get a point. Your kicker kicks a field goal, you get a point. You can get minus points. Your guy fumbles the ball, it's minus 2 points. Your quarterback throws an interception, it's minus 2 points. So it's done like that. So it's super, super simple. Even I learned it, and that was a lot of fun. And about the draft as well, we all have to be there on that night. Is that right? Or if they pick auto pick, do they really got to be there? They got to press a button that picks auto?
No, not at all. Matter of fact, if you don't show up for the draft, the machine picks for you. And here's another thing. I know guys in my longtime league, they come in, they do about the first 6 or 7 players who they want to get. And then they go, see you guys, and they're out. And if you leave, the machine picks for you. So either way, you can do a half league, you can do half, you can do the whole thing. Yeah.
I like it.
Easy stuff.
Cool. So that just so allay the fears of people who are new. Oh, I don't know what to do. There's only a couple things you got to do down the line. When the games are starting to be played, because there are bye weeks in football, which means a team may have the week off, and you may have a player in your roster, that has that week off, and you got to put somebody in for him that will, let's say your quarterback is off that week, your team has a bye week, you might want to put your alternate quarterback in that person's place in order to score some points. So that's about the biggest thing down the road that I can see.
Yep.
For newbies.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's it.
Cool. So I'll be talking more about this during the live stream coming up on Sunday against the Patriots. And then BH and I are going to do one more show, probably the following after the Patriots game and after all on that Tuesday following the game. Every team has to have their 53-man roster. So we'll have our 53-man roster. So we may do a show on Wednesday or Thursday. And when we come on that Wednesday or Thursday, we'll reaffirm what's going on here with the fantasy football league that we're going to be running. How many people we got? Have we filled the roster? So so that's our upcoming lineup. So today we wanted to talk about a little bit of the Jets game, a little bit of the Miami game, just our feelings about how we thought our team did. So
yeah. I tell you, the thing about preseason is you can't get too high and you can't get too low. People freak out and see someone having a pretty good preseason and they think, some guy is going to make the team that was just an undrafted free agent, but you can't get too high on people, can't get too low. But I kind of like what they're doing. I think this really is us building. This team is building. A lot of people are saying we need to go out and sign a corner. We need to go out and get another guy. And I'm thinking these guys are like, nah, we got what we want, got plenty of young players, and they have a system. They've worked really hard with the draft, with free agency, got a ton of people in here, and they're working with what they have. They're not trying to win the Super Bowl this year. And there's a lot of work to do, man. This is just a lot of new players, new schemes, new coordinators. That's a lot of work, man, when you're starting from scratch, man.
Yep.
So, really, I'm obviously from Jaden Daniels. It's limited. All I can say about him is I like the way he looks. I like the way he is. But you can tell, man, when he comes up, I tell you, years ago, watching the Chargers and that guy, Ryan Leaf, he was awful. And he just looked awful. And I remember when they drafted Drew Brees, and it was his first preseason game. They put him in the third quarter with the third or fourth, with all the scrubs, right? And Drew Brees comes out, looks around, makes some line calls, and the first thing my wife says is, she goes, "Man," she goes, "that guy looks ready to go." He like Leaf never looked ever. She goes, "This is his first NFL game." And that's why I kind of got that out of Jaden Daniels. He looked ready. He made some mistakes. He still got to learn to get down quicker. And made some real good throws. I think we talked about that. His timing throws, throwing before guys break.
Yes.
He did a good job. But I guess the overall thing I can say about this is that he looked comfortable. He didn't look rattled. So, and that's big.
Yeah, it is. No, I thought he played really well. He looked, he's had limited play against the Jets. I think he played one set of downs, but he drove down and they scored the touchdown. And he had that long bomb to Diami Brown, which actually helps Diami Brown. And that was a 50-50 all the way. And actually, Jaden Daniels ran the ball in and scored the touchdown. Then against Miami, he had 3 sets of downs or 2 sets of downs.
I think it was 2.
So,
yeah.
And in both, he got down there and we slowed up even, I think, before we got in the red zone. And, the kicker is obviously a problem. And he made one, missed one. So, but I think the issue was sealing the deal, getting down into the opponent's territory and not getting the ball in. And I think he acknowledged that as well. So something they need to work on. And I know during practices, you heard him talk about, red zone work. So it sounds like they've identified the problem and need to work on it. So I thought the running backs did good. I thought B-Rob did great. I think Eckler caught a couple out there. I really like that guy, Michael Wiley, although I don't think he got as much play against Miami, but he did catch a few passes out there. So, I thought overall, the Commanders look good in general.
Yeah.
Look good.
Yeah, I did too. And, like a lot of times you're playing a lot of vanilla.
Hmm.
And so, you got to take everything with a grain of salt. I think also, I don't think Johnny Newton, the rookie, is still, they're just bringing him along slow. I think he's okay. He's still working and practicing and doing stuff, but not putting him in games yet, letting his foot heal 100%. But I don't think Jonathan Allen, Deron Payne didn't play. There's a few other defensive guys that they didn't play much. So we don't really haven't had, and all teams do this, don't have their full complement. So, but everyone looked pretty good. I know a couple of our corners got burnt. One in, Forbes in one game, St. Just, and those were our problem children from last year. The St. Just one, that was close. That was tough. Good throw, good catch. Kind of like Diami's catch on them. I mean, you couldn't really fault the corner. It was just a great throw, and Diami showed great concentration. So, but I was looking at some things, and one thing I think we talked about it, was Washington was 31st in quarterback pressures last year. They could not pressure the quarterback. And then if you look down at the bottom of the list of teams with the least quarterback pressures, they're all garbage. No one made the playoffs in those bottom 6 teams. You just don't win that way. Yeah. You got to have pressure. So it'll be interesting to see who we dial up for that as the season goes. But anyway, overall, I was happy. I think every one of us know that we got a kicker problem.
Yeah. Even if you look at this depth chart here that I was looking at, there's nobody in the front of the depth chart, and they got Riley Patterson at number 2. That's embarrassing. When you're playing, when you're second in the depth chart to nobody, that says a lot about you. So we did get rid of that other guy we had before, Ahmed Ramez, whatever his name was. It's unfortunate. This is a time of year, though, like, if you got problems in areas, so does everybody else. So if people are cutting kickers, you kind of got to jump on them before other teams jump on kickers too, or quarterbacks, or there's a lot of injuries going on in this preseason. Like, look at J.J. McCarthy, done. Yeah.
I know. We've been, I mean, I think the only guy we've really had a problem with was that our Jordan McGee, the linebacker. I think he may be just, I don't want to get the cart ahead of the horse here a little bit, but McGee is the one guy, and he may actually go on either injured reserve or pup or something, because he is dinged. But we've been good, but tons of injuries, guys getting dinged up. So we've been so far been pretty good for us. But I did read. I forgot to bring it to the show, but I just want to let you know you were right. I read a couple guys talking about already lining up veteran kickers that are going to be out there, because some teams have a couple of veterans. I forget the team, but they had specifically 3 guys, and they're saying, look, these guys for sure. So we'll probably jump on some of these veterans and get them in, or at least to come in and compete with Patterson. Yeah. I mean, he could go out Sunday night and kick 450-yarders and okay, fine. But I think right now you got to bring people in.
Yeah. We talked about it the last time too. Is that with kickers, you got to see how they're doing from week to week, month to month at the most. Who gives a shit what they did 2 years ago? We said, like golfers, is he having problems now? Look what happened to like Joey Sly. Look at what happened to our boy before him, the fucking ginger we had that got traded to the Chargers.
Yeah.
Just having
Dustin Hopkins. Yeah, same thing.
Just having
and then they go, and then he does pretty good.
Yeah, exactly.
They always need a new, but that's what you say, man. They live in between their ears so much that sometimes they just got to get cut and moved on. So
right, and we talked about it too. That's Tyler Ott and our punter with the snap and the hold. Those guys are professionals. It doesn't seem to me like it's their fault. You know what I mean? You're getting a good snap and hold every single time. So Riley just may have the jitters. I don't know, but he's a veteran. I'm pretty sure. So he shouldn't be having those kinds of jitters. And we talk about on this channel, man, 1 point, 3 points. It's the difference between winning and losing. Like how many times Joey Sly miss an extra point and we lost the game.
I know, man.
A couple times at least last year. So,
Yep.
yeah, yep. Anything else? Anybody on the bubble you want to talk about? Anything offense you want to talk about? People you
No, I
think
think,
are going to make
like
it,
you
aren't going to
said,
make it?
I think we could, yeah, let's talk about a few positions and some bubbles. And I think a lot of this is, we might not know exactly who's going to make it, but I think we know within reason, like with the quarterbacks. I mean, let's start there.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we know it's going to be Jaden and Marcus Mariota and probably Driscoll, except they may just go with two. So, what they do from there, who knows with Driscoll.
The thing about the quarterbacks, can't you put a third on the field and it not count against you?
Yeah, for purposes of like the 48 that you're going to suit up, you
Yeah.
can do it. But then he still takes a roster spot. So if you're fighting for that extra linebacker, for the overall roster, it's kind of a
So it's
of a
not like
drag.
he could be on the practice squad and you put him on the 48. He's got to be on the roster.
Although he could be on the practice squad. They've changed it now so much where they give you a couple veteran spots now. So they might be able to do that. And I think that was specifically for quarterback, to be honest with you. So
right, he's a veteran.
The guy.
He's been around for a while, right?
Yeah, and I think because in the old days it used to be like guys with 2 to 3 years of accumulated games, but now that's most of it. But now they've kind of created a few slots for some veterans. So yeah, he may hang on, but I think that's it. Now we got Mariota is still got dinged up a little, but I think they're resting him and he should be able to come along. I'm sure he's in all the meetings. You know what I mean? He knows the system and he's learning it. He just doesn't have a lot of reps, but hopefully we never have to see him.
Yeah, he's notoriously had knee injuries, but this one's a groin injury. Isn't all that great either, but I thought Driscoll looked really good.
I thought Driscoll looked great.
41-yarder and
hold on 1 second. Yeah, I got to check something.
Yeah, go check it. Anyways, Driscoll did look good. So I thought that McSoras, whatever his name was, I thought, just to bring him in, brand new, he looked pretty terrible. Actually, Driscoll looked kind of rough towards the end, but overall, I thought he did good. I thought running backs did good. You want to go to running backs?
Let's do them. I think we know now the running backs. Obviously, it's Brian Robinson and Eckler, but there's been a lot of competition at the fringes. Jeremy McNichol's been running out there. We have Chris Rodriguez. He doesn't seem like he's done a lot or showed a lot, but you mentioned the big surprise is Michael Wiley. So do they carry 3 or carry 4?
A lot of 53 outlooks I see, they're carrying 4.
Yeah, so keep 4 and then maybe just put Chris Rodriguez on the practice squad. How's that sound?
Yeah. But I don't know if that McNichol guy looked any good, though.
Me either. Now, and then all this other things that we got to remember, it all comes to special teams. Can they return? Can they not? So we may not know the ins and outs of all that. That always has, when 2 guys are close and one guy has a great special teams, but I don't think you'll lose anybody because of the practice squad.
Right.
So you can still, like, if it is Rodriguez, you can still develop them. But the thing is, that's another thing we should talk about overall. They have no loyalty to anyone, but when there's guys that you didn't bring in, sometimes they might be the first to get cut.
See that all over the place.
All the time. So anyway, but I like what we have there.
What about tight ends? That's an easy one.
Yeah, that's real easy. Yep, we got Ertz, John Bates, who looked pretty good. Great blocker. Ben Sinnott.
Yeah.
And then on the outside looking in would be Cole Turner. So I don't know if he's if they're going to go 4 tight ends, practice squad, or they might release him. You never know. And I think for sure, Colson Yankoff won't make it because we don't want anyone named Yankoff on our team. I'm sorry, man. That's unfortunate. That's an unfortunate name, but you got to be a 3-time Pro Bowler to make a team with that name. So doing good there. I mean, I'm excited about Sinnott.
He looked really he's a beast.
He is. And Zach Ertz, I think, is just that sort of veteran presence that we need. It'll be kind of interesting to see how he's doing, coming off the injury. And plus, he's an older guy, but he's smart. He's been around. So I think he'll be a good security blanket. He may not be dynamic. I think Ben Sinnott's going to be the guy. As the season goes, he's going to be the dynamic guy that's
Right
out
on.
there making catches. So
Yep.
yeah, so that's good. Now wide receiver,
Yeah.
easy right off the bat. I just want to say there's a lot of scuttlebutt out there about Jahan Dotson.
Yep.
A lot of people saying that maybe, although he's playing a ton of snaps, but coach also brought in some guys. I mean, Martavis Bryant, who I thought, I mean, from when I'm like, God, was he been out of the league for 5 years? But anyway,
Yeah.
they brought him in.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going on there. I doubt they're ready to cut bait with them. But I mean, right now, Terry, John Dotson, I think Olamide Zaccheaus, I mean, he's been pretty good.
Yeah.
I thought.
I thought so too.
And then you got Luke McCaffrey. They're going to keep him. He's done okay, but he's a draft pick, so he will stay. And Diami, kind of one of the bigger surprises, so we got to stick with him. And then here, I think Jamison Crowder. When you're down here at this point, you got to look at return guys. So you got Jamison Crowder, you got Byron Pringle, and probably what is his name?
Casimir Allen.
Casimir Allen. But if you're not a good wide receiver, they're not going to keep you on. So to me, it kind of is leaning more towards Jamison Crowder. I think so.
Yeah. How does Bryson Tremaine fit in there? He's a tall guy. I liked how he's been playing.
Yeah, those other guys are sort of kind of mushed together. Tinsley, Bryson Tremaine. They're they just haven't stuck out enough. That's the problem. They've done okay, but maybe they're sticking out more in camp than anything. That's a crowded room. But the guys we named, that's 6 receivers. Do they go 7? I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you think? Probably not.
No. But whoever, keep either Crowder, Casimir, or Pringle for the returns and put, Tremaine on the practice squad, or 2 of them on the practice squad.
Yeah, maybe Mitchell, Tinsley, and Tremaine. Yeah, I think that's a good way to go. Okay, we got to look at this O-line. I think. Yeah, I know. Man, I tell you, what's his name? Man, Andrew Wiley still looks rough out there.
Yeah. That was his first time back, though.
Yeah. I have to tell you, I went to a bunch of sites to see what people are saying. And to be honest, over the past few years, people are pretty good, guys out there on the internet predicting, who's going to make it and who's not. And this offensive line, guys are all over the place. You get to the first 5, but after that, no one can agree on anything.
All right.
So, we're pretty sure we're going to be going. Brandon Coleman will make the team. I know he's battling an injury, but he'll make the team. Allegretti's starting. Biotis is starting. Sam Cosme, and then Andrew Wiley. Now, after that, I think we can say Cornelius Lucas for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And
Chris Paul behind Allegretti.
Yeah, he did pretty good, and he played some right tackle. They let him go out there, but then who's the backup center? Is it going to be Ricky Stromberg or this Michael Dieter?
Or even that Nosberg guy, whoever he was, he did terrible, if you ask me.
Yeah. So and then one guy that did good, that's just a pure guard, was this guy Julian Good-Jones. I think we got him. He's like a 3 or 4 year player. He was actually, out of the blue, he was our highest rated PFF player. He had a real strong game. So I don't know if he's in the mix. That's why after the first 5, and maybe you said Paul, he's in there. Trent Scott. Yeah. Trent Scott probably, but I don't know. That one's a super big question mark. And also we can look at cuts from other teams. There might be some guys they're waiting for, because they might say they might like our 5 starters and 1 backup, and they'd be happy to bring in 3 other guys. They might not be happy with what's there. We don't know.
How many do you keep? 9? You usually
9.
What's his name used to keep 10.
Yeah. I think 9's a minimum. So that would mean Cornelius Lucas, Chris Paul, Trent Scott, and then either Dieter or Stromberg for the center. So that's about it. Could be some surprises. So
yeah. Yeah, that
Well,
front line has been a pain in the ass for years and years and years. Chris and Veronica have been bitching about that. We've been
yeah,
bitching about it, and it just
yep,
doesn't ever seem to get fixed. And it's unbelievable that,
yep,
got your Jaden Daniels going in there with, you know, mid protection.
yeah. Protection, at least the protection wasn't awful. I was
Right.
watching a little bit, and I felt like it was pretty decent. I saw some of the highlights, like that all 22 style from
Mm-hmm.
behind, and I thought that power blocking scheme that Kingsbury has, I think
Mm-hmm.
it suits him pretty well. Just and also, what's his name? Brian Robinson played in a power blocking scheme at Alabama. So, and they did a pretty good job sealing guys off. And another guy who was great was our who's our that tight end
John Bates?
John Bates,
Yeah.
and John Bates would come across and seal those holes all the time. They'd send him in motion, and then the running back could go, and he was doing really good. So, anyway, yeah, they got to fix it. Well, let's see. Defensive ends. We got a lot of ends on this
Yeah, we do.
defense. And Clellan Farrell and Dorrance Armstrong, I think they're a lock. We brought them in. So, I mean, I think they're a lock to play. And then, John Ridgway, Jazir Newton. Do we carry? I know. Oh, let's go with the ends. I'm sorry. I got ahead of myself.
That's right.
So then we go KJ Henry.
Right.
He's played. I mean, I think he's been the best pass rusher in the preseason that we've had. And Dante Fowler, I think, isn't going anywhere. Right. And then you start to get, then there's Andre Jones from last year. I think he's on the bubble because we drafted a guy this year, the guy Javonte Jean-Baptiste, who actually looked good.
He did.
So, you might that might just be it. FA is still on the PUP. Who knows? Maybe one of these guys, maybe some of these guys can hang on until FA comes back. And who knows? FA could just get cut. They could just give him a contract settlement and move on. He's an older guy. I don't know. I'd hate to see it, but it's just, who knows the nature of his injury and how bad it is. But there's not a lot of greatness there. There's some decent players, but that's one thing we'll have to address in the coming seasons. I think really getting
just as a point, they were using Jamin Davis, and he actually got that back. So
yeah, a lot of people are saying he saved his job there because he can be both. He can be both a backup linebacker if you need him, and he can also be your pass rush specialist.
Yeah.
Bring Clellan Farrell out and put Jamin in there, kind of a thing. Yeah. So. Defensive tackles, we know, are pretty set. Deron Payne, Jonathan Allen, Jazir Newton, the new guy, he'll be there. But I think they're going to do 4.
Probably Ridgway, in my opinion.
Yep. And who knows how Fedarius has done? I mean, I like how Benning Patoa did last year towards the end of the season, but he's a journeyman. So other than that, I think that'd be the big mystery.
Right.
Fedarian or Ridgway.
And they can be, the one who doesn't gets put on the practice squad. Probably the same with Patoe. You can afford 2 guys on the practice squad. How many guys on the practice squad? 15, 14?
15. Yep.
15. There's plenty of guys that you can have lots of backup on that and protect them and do all that kind of stuff. So I'm happy about that one. Hopefully they'll be able to be used properly this year and not that vanilla fucking defensive fucking 4-man rush that was just the same every single play, every single game. Ugh.
It was awful.
Mix it up.
Yep, mix it up. Do some looping. Do some different things. They're going to be doing some stuff like that. They're going to mix up blitzes. You'll see them come out there with a 3-4 look. Sometimes, pull guys out, 3 down linemen, all of a sudden 4 linebackers with Jamin Davis on one end. You know what I mean? Frankie Louvu standing up on the other end. And that's what we want to see. Because we know Coach wants pressure, and Coach might not have the studs, but he doesn't care because he schemes it.
Yeah.
He loves the challenge. So, well, let's see. What do we got for linebackers? Well,
linebackers easy.
Yep. Bobby Wagner, Frankie Louvu.
Yep.
and then Jamin will be there. And then the only thing is, I think, is McGee. He might have to go on injured reserve for 4 to 8 weeks, I think, unfortunately.
And they just got rid of Bo Bauer.
Yeah, Bauer's gone, but I think they got enough depth here. They've got some other guys. So, I thought Michael Walker did pretty good, actually. Anthony Pittman is the special teams guy, backup linebacker. So he's in the mix. So, I mean, he might make the team based on his special teams. And it just depends. Jordan McGee at this point doesn't look good for me. Although it's not a terrible injury, it's going to take time. So, and that's too bad because he's a stud.
Is that 4 guys in the linebacker room?
That's 4. Okay. And, you got a couple you might have, like I said, Michael Walker and this other guy, Russ Chappelle. They're on the outside kind of looking in. So, but I like that linebacker crew.
Very good.
Yeah. Yep.
Now to the defensive backs, the safety
DBs
and the cornerbacks. Ouch.
Yep. Yeah, that's been rough. We do have Michael Davis from the Chargers. Hopefully he plays like Michael Davis was like, if you look at his PFF, he plays good 1 year, bad the next year, good the 1 year, bad the next year. But I went back and looked. He had a different defensive coordinator almost 3 out of the last 5 years.
Right.
So, who knows how they're playing him? The guy goes, well, here's how I see you playing in this. And you're like, it doesn't fit your style. Well, they brought Michael Davis in. So he's going to fit their style. He wasn't drafted. The coach didn't get there and he was sitting there. They brought him in. So I have a feeling he does good in man. So I think that's what they want. Michael Davis is good in man. And, but Ben St. Juste has been challenged. He always has, but I think he's going to start. And then the good news, we got Mike Sainstro in the slot. And I think it's kind of an improvement. I do miss Kendall Fuller. I don't know why people were always chopping on him when he was here. God, I never heard people complaining about Kendall Fuller, and all he ever did was cover, make good tackles, and was solid. So, but whatever. But it's going to be now after that, man. Now you're looking. You got Emmanuel Forbes, the big question. Yeah. Is he going to go? We got Tree Castro Fields. Now you're looking at that, and then you got a lot of veterans in here. Caillou Blue Kelly and Noah Ingabogeni. Is he? I didn't see much of him. He must have been. Ingabogeni is young. He's been in the league for a long time. He must have been drafted when he was 20, but he was a first-round pick for Miami 4 years ago, and he never did get it. But Coach brought him in because he played at Dallas last year, and Coach did bring him in. So he might have a plan for him.
And they got him down. I think they got him down in special teams.
Yes, they got him as a kick returner.
Yes.
Which we need because really Jameson Crowder's a punt returner.
Yep.
So anyway, that's we know that's a weak point. Players are going to have to step up. Guys like St. Juste and Forbes, if he makes it, are going to have to just play better. They're just going to have to. So, yeah. I like our starting safeties.
Yeah.
Love Quan Martin and Jeremy Chin. Think they're going to be awesome, moving them all around the system. But man, this is where everything to me is one of the crazier ones. You got, Derek Forrest and Jeremy Reeves, Percy Butler, all from the old regime, all pretty good. None of them. Derek was good. He was really good. Jeremy Reeves was a special teams star, but you got to be good on the field between the 20s too. You can't just keep a guy that's just special teams, and they might, but I kind of see real battles going on there because of where is he at? They got him way down on this depth chart, but he's going to make this team.
We got Tyler Owens. We got less than a minute.
Tyler Owens, man, the surprise of camp. He's a monster. So Tyler Owens is, I think he makes his team.
Awesome. Yeah, I like him too. Hear his name a lot.
Yep, he played all over.
I think we covered about everything.
I think we did.
I just want to finish up before we run out of time.